Hey, what's up, guys? It's Justin Kahn here with another episode of Fractal Radio, bringing you the best blockchain games and the stories behind them. And today I'm joined by Grim and Daishizen, who are building a new project called Yaku that I'm super excited about. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Hey guys.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, same.
Amazing. So I was just checking out Yaku, and it's totally my vibe. I've got to confess, because like I ride motorcycles, have a Ducati, and I'm into I love Blade Runner and kind of this like neo future style. So when I checked out, looking at Yaku and what you're producing, it looks like a metaverse with a motorcycle racing game kind of built into it. How do you guys describe it to your audience?
Yeah, I would say we are really building, I guess, long-term, three separate experiences for people. So in the short term, the first thing we're delivering is your individual space that lives sort of within this greater universe, right? So one of our releases in our 3 mint system that we're going to be rolling out is for a capsule, and that's sort of like your apartment within the metaverse, right? So within that capsule, you'll have access to our YAKU TV, which we're going to have some integrated applications. We're integrating things like Audius for streaming, proximity chat if you have your friends over. There'll be an opportunity to customize your avatar and your bike in that space. So that's really the first short-term deliverables, to be able to give people access to that. It's really similar to some other products that are already out there, but with our own unique take on it, and we're trying to provide maybe an elevated experience, right? We're going for that full 3D feel because we think that long-term that's what people are after. The second thing that we'll be rolling out will be the actual racing game for our motorbikes, which is our first mint coming up on Fractal here on Tuesday the 15th that we're very excited for. Those will be a part of a play-to-earn racing game, and eventually they'll also be usable as transportation on the open map, which is the third and final piece de resistance of what we're trying to deliver here. And so it is going to be a fully open metaverse playable world. We already have a lot of great partners lined up to create some fun experiences for people to have there. So instead of just running around, an open city without much to do, we're going to be providing a ton of stuff like a YAKU University in partnership with another collection called the Fellowship, where people will be able to learn things like C++ and Rust online in a collaborative setting. We'll be rolling out a YAKU Mall with some other partner collaboration projects to say, how can you upgrade your avatar with unique pieces from these other collections? And also some casinos and fun things for those of you that are into that side of the ecosphere here.
Wow, that's a lot. I love the vision. So I want to dive into all of that more, but let's go back and talk about, like, how did you guys come together to work on this project? Like, how did you get into crypto? How did you get into the space, building games? Like, tell us your backgrounds and you as a team.
Yeah, so Daishaizen's actually our original founder of the project, and I'll kind of let him speak to how he originally envisioned it and how it first kicked off, and then I can sort of speak to when I joined and how we've changed over time.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if you just want to speak to the original ideas of the project
Okay.
and sort of your first thoughts and where it grew from there.
At the beginning, it was a project based on some manga stuff, because I'm a big fan of manga and Japanese things. And the project evolved a lot because I have this view that the metaverse is the future of gaming, then NFT is the future of gaming too, because it allows every asset in gaming to be unique and usable and purchasable in-game. And this first idea of manga project evolved quickly to this metaverse game,
Yeah, so it sounded like, very manga inspired.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this new Tokyo futuristic Blade Runner vibe. And then you've kind of turned that over time. Your vision's grown into this whole gaming ecosystem and metaverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was when I came on, it was really interesting. So I am not an original team member. I was there pretty early, but not at the very beginning. And I came across the project through some buddies in the space and just became immediately really drawn to it. And so Daishaizen and myself started just having some friendly conversations about, what's the goal? Where is this headed? What's your marketing approach? Because my background is in marketing. And I have a really small alpha server for Solana NFTs with some friends, and I invited him to join. And as we got to know each other better and understand sort of our goals and our aspirations in the space more broadly, he asked if I would be willing to come on. And when we had our first call to really walk through how did we get to where we are today, it was mind-blowing to me how we went from a manga-inspired profile picture project to a racing game to a full metaverse. It was even more interesting to me that he already had the background and capabilities and a team pulled together that had those expertises ready to go.
You had the skill sets ready to build this whole thing. So
Right.
tell us about that team, where the team comes from, their backgrounds. How do you have your relevant experience for building out this project?
I just say that I'm not a game developer, a professional game developer, but I used to build game with Unreal Engine, and I'm like I don't know how to say in English, but self-made man, okay? In
Like an amateur, or like you're self-taught game developer.
Yeah, exactly. And I begin to have a friendship with some game developer, and I hire one game developer and an Unreal Engine studio. We together built this first demo. That's it.
It just started from there. Yeah, so you kind of had learning yourself, you're self-taught game developer, you made friends with other game developers, and kind of the team formed around that. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're really, as a team, very community focused, and the transparency is really important. So throughout the process of these sort of end deliverables, one thing I always point people to is in our Discord server, you can see we have a whole channel just for community polls. And those polls are as minutia as how do you feel about the style of these headlights on the bike? Right? Because to us, those little things are important, and it's cool to involve the community in that way. And I think that's why our team works together really well, because we all came together very organically as people who were just interested in the space, and we had the right backgrounds to sort of fill in the gaps for one another, if that makes sense, right? So what Daishaizen brings is like a very broad expertise in a little bit of everything, and he's smart enough to know exactly what he's hearing and what he's listening for, and how to sniff test maybe people who are portraying themselves to be more than they are or less than they are even, and pull out the best in them. And that's really where his leadership has been important in bringing on the right people in the team to make sure we keep growing.
That's the entrepreneurial skill set.
Yep.
Kind of like a little bit of everything. I recognize that.
Yeah, and with the gaming league, we try to test every engine possible. We test Unreal Engine, we test Unity, we test 3GS. I don't know if you know this engine. It's used by Artifact.
Yeah.
For the yes, and we test these three engines to be sure of the direction we will follow. And we found that Unreal Engine is the future of gaming and the future of metaverse, and we have to do an application, and we don't want to be HTML5 based, because we want to have the best graphics, and it's not an issue if you don't have a web game based, because in the future I think that the streaming will win. The streaming, you understand?
Yeah.
I am clear.
Yes, like game streaming. Like people will play, like it'll be streamed from a server to your computer, where you're, and we've kind of made improvements in like game streaming to reduce latency. That's been the dream for the longest time, right?
Exactly.
And then now it's finally kind of getting there technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree with you.
We follow this app direction, and the community is very hyped by our first demo. So we are exciting by the future.
Awesome. So tell me about the demo. Like, what's the demo you've released? What can you do in it?
So we really wanted to provide as much of a hands-on experience as we could before the mint, just to show everyone like the wheels are turning, things are happening, tumblers are falling into the correct spots, right? Because honestly, this day and age, it's crazy to me how frequently we sell things that sell out for sometimes really absurd prices when there's not actually any functionality that's yet been delivered. There's a lot on a roadmap. The roadmap's really robust. Sometimes they paid a really great graphic designer to make it look pretty, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything to use and interact with yet. So to make sure that our community understood that we were serious, we released a demo that was downloadable on both Windows and Mac for all of our whitelisted members in our Discord, which is about 2,000 people. And that demo was of our Capsule home, which will be your apartment, as well as the avatar and bike within it. Because ultimately, long term, we want the full experience to be catered towards what you are looking for. If you want your avatar to look a certain way to reflect your exterior personality in real life, or who you'd prefer to be instead in the metaverse, right? We want that option available to you. So within the capsule, it's already got blockchain interaction so that you can use the gallery function to hang your favorite NFTs on the wall. You can switch out wallets that you prefer. It'll also save those changes within the capsule, so when you leave, you don't have to like reset your art whenever you return. It already has set up in it the functionality to change out your wardrobe on your avatar. So another big collaboration that we're really excited about was with a collection by the name of Anybody's, that they are positioning themselves for like high-end metaverse fashion.
Yeah.
And they did a collaboration with a collection a lot of people are familiar with called D-Gods to release a super sick D-Gods hoodie that's got functional wings and stuff on the back. Really, really sick. And so we were able to implement that into our demo as an outfit you could switch in and out of. So we had some of their shoes in there, their hoodie in there, the wings in there. Or, of course, you could go with the standard option of what is the norm for your Yaku X avatar, right? That was a cool addition. And then we also had highlighted in there 3 avatars from other collections, because another big thing long-term is we want to be the hub for all things Solana in the metaverse.
Yeah.
So our experience is not going to be limited to the 7,000 avatars that are in our collection we'll be selling. We want to expand that and include lots of other collections out there. We've even had, and we can't say who yet, but it's a big one, some conversations with a very well-known large 2D collection on Solana about creating, or at least helping facilitate create for them a 3D version of their collection that could be integrated. Because ultimately, long-term, that's what we want. We want all of our favorite collections represented in a huge multiplayer experience that is going to provide entertainment for maybe longer than your parents would like you to be on there, you know?
Yeah. Amazing. So this is like one of the first places where you'll be able to bring in this idea of like kind of cross-game NFTs, or like NFTs that are, you've bought in other places, they're representing digital fashion items, and then you'll be able to kind of dress your avatar in Yaku with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And to be honest, I
love that.
I think we are the first project to deliver a demo, a working demo with on-chain interaction and with all these possibilities like custom your avatars. I think it's the first time, no?
I don't know for sure that there are any others. The only one that comes to mind immediately of having a working product on like day one at least is Solana Town had access pretty early on in a demo. But even then, it was an open space. You know, you were able to walk around, and there was like a text chat, but that was about it. There was no on-chain interaction or anything. There were some others that released demos, I think, that had that, but they were not playable for the public. It was a video of like a dev interacting with the demo. So we were really excited about that. We were stoked. We were like, we'll try our best to over-deliver.
Awesome. And so you guys are, the next thing that will come out after that is like a motorcycle racing game. Tell me about the motorcycles and the customizations. I have to admit, that's like one of the things I'm really excited about.
People love the bikes. I can't blame them. They are awesome, and we're really excited about it. So the goal with the bikes, really sort of the full roadmap for them, is we are working on, of course, the best tokenomics that we can roll out. And we're beating our heads together with a couple of other really good people out there in the space who have worked on some of these token rollouts for other big projects to understand what's the best sort of way to implement this. So the game will be a play-to-earn game. Long-term, we are looking at having some sort of like a ranked competitive version, right, as well as the opportunity, of course, as we all love, right, the casino metaverse meta is here to stay, being able to potentially gamble on your races as well. Of course, above and beyond that, they'll also be used on the open map for transportation, so you can get around to things quicker and easier. Not committing to this yet, but we've also talked about other forms of transportation. Someone was joking that we needed jet skis for the waterfront. And we thought it's possible we could just roll out a patch where the motorcycles can transform into jet skis as well, right? That's it. So I'm not committing to it yet. I'm just saying that we've talked about it. The options are out there, you know.
Awesome. That's so cool. Will you be able to customize your bike or like different styles? Like where do the bike, kind of the visual inspirations come from for the bikes?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Mint, they're going to have a rarity instilled in them based on the traits that they've got, right? So we're going to have, I think, including one of one's 106 different textures or paint colors, however you might refer to them. There's 17 different materials for the seat back. There's 3 different headlights, 2 different taillights. There's also 3 different weapons that will be available in some different configurations of like single dual wield, because long term down the line, in addition to just the actual racing format for the bikes, we'd like to include some sort of either a PvE or PvP function as well. So the PvE PvP thing is pretty cool because our community, we did not come up with this idea whatsoever. It just was an awesome idea, gained a lot of traction, rolled out factions. And so we've got 3 factions now already before we've even minted anything. And people are really diehard. They wrote their own lore. People voted on which lore would represent which faction. So we're trying to think of it long term. How do we implement a sort of a PvP between factions or some sort of a PvE goal within the game, maybe in the open world, like open world boss fights, things of that nature for any like old school World of Warcraft players out there that miss those days in vanilla. Some stuff like that to kind of bring that together. But that's really the big thing, and it will be customizable. So even though those traits and rarities will be there day one, part of our long-term goal and how we're going to continue to drive a fun, creative, and evolving experience for people is we will have a Yakuverse store in which you'll be able to use the Yaku token to buy things like altered exhaust systems, alter the color of your bike, alter, the wheels, the tires, really anything and everything. I joke, again, being a long-term gamer, my favorite racing game back in the day on PlayStation 2 was Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix, because I could customize anything on my bike down to the license plate, right? And that's sort of the same feeling we want to go for here. So there will be rarity day one, but long-term that rarity is going to be pretty much thrown out the window. We're looking for lots of opportunities with, again, other collabs to keep growing the space, to say, how can we collaborate with you to release, as an example, maybe a limited edition exhaust system that is themed after your collection that we would put available in the Yaku store for free or for different tiers of Yaku tokens, whatever it might be.
Incredible. I love that. Cool. And so what's the timeline for all of this? How are you guys thinking about, the next year for Yaku?
Yeah, absolutely. So the capsule accessibility is going to be ready really soon. So that mint will likely take place somewhere around March 1st. We're still working out on the specifics on the date for that one, but around March 1st. And the capsule access from the original app will probably be ready to go like that week. And then we will continue to just patch in new updates with new functionalities continually. For the timeline on the actual full open map and racing game, tentatively on the roadmap that we last released was sort of updated. We were looking at sometime probably late Q3 is my guess. Of course, our goal is to just continue to implement new updates as we go along. I kind of compare it, I guess, to like the Fortnite model, right? Where the map is continually changing and they're continually adding to it. That's sort of what we want to be able to do, is to get out the first experience, and instead of saying, okay, here's wave 2 with a bunch of updates all at once, just keep adding nonstop. So that's sort of the goal. So some early things that we'll be implementing in the capsule above and beyond kind of what I talked about earlier. Staking of your bikes within the capsule will be available pretty soon. Being able to rotate between your bikes within the garage and see if you're holding more than one, all of them, and access sort of at least the panel for updating them and customizing them will be pretty early on. But the actual full map, we're still a few months out. It's going to take a lot more work on that, but we do have the base 3D for it laid out already. It's just continuing to build on the theme of it and make sure it functions properly.
Amazing. And if you guys think about like the long term for the Yakuverse, or I don't know what you call the metaverse, but like what is this? What does this look like in a couple of years down the road if everything that you want to do is successful?
So So I have big dreams and aspirations personally. I know our whole team does, but I've been really hammering on it. I think that we are at a really good cross section in the entire environment where public general adoption is growing at like a rapid pace. I think working with people like you, Justin, and the Fractal team is only going to increase that public adoption because your brand so far, exceeds and is outside of this what is really a pretty niche community right now. So we want to be prepared for that. We want to be ready to onboard people as much as possible. So we're really working on building a brand. So 2 years from now, having an open metaverse experience for people to come in and adopt, where there are hundreds of different collections that have been integrated and tens of thousands of players that can come in and visit like a Suzuki store to customize their bike, that can order DoorDash online directly to their house from the Yakuverse, and then you can go to your local favorite toy store and pick up an action figure of the exact YakuX avatar that you own in the metaverse. These are the sorts of things that we're really angling for. Obviously, new fish, very small fish in the pond currently, and these are high dreams and aspirations. But really, the goal is to be as close to a household name as possible to facilitate this just all-encompassing experience.
I have big dreams, but I'm also very. I prefer to think about the next month because I want to focus on what.
He's focused. He's the entrepreneur who wants to deliver.
Yeah. Because it's nice to have dream, but it's also nice to have a real plan and what we can deliver for real, and it's in our core value to deliver what we announce. Okay, so of course my dream is to have an open map and have a whole metaverse where all Solana community could chat together, could walk on the street, etc. But yeah, it's my dream for sure. But today I'm focused
But
on
one thing at a time, and your head's down on delivery right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love that because it's something.
Yeah,
it's so needed in the space, right?
Yeah, because that's we build our project around the community, and we focus on this working demo because we want to say to the community, hey, look, we can deliver not before the mint of the capsule, but before the mint of the bike. It's our value. That's it.
100%. I love that. Let's remind everyone when the mint date is, and the ways that they can participate and find you guys online. Where's your Discord, where's your Twitter, and when's that upcoming mint date?
Absolutely. So our first mint for the ONI-S01 YAKU Engineering motorbikes is on February 15th. We have a whitelist and a controlled public mint that we are really excited about. We've really tried to make this experience about the community and include people specifically who have been there with us, since day one. And so the whitelist will kick off at 7 a.m. UTC, and it will roll into the public at 7 p.m. UTC. So look for that on the Fractal Launchpad. And be sure to tag us on Twitter. We are at YakuCorp. If you are on Instagram, we are at yaku.corp. And our Discord is just discord.gg/YakuCorp. So feel free to pop on in. We love questions. Happy to answer any that you all might have out there. And looking forward to launching with Team Fractal.
Thank you, guys. Amazing. It sounds like you're very community focused. It would pay to join the Discord, for Yaku, and you can, participate directly in the community. I love that. Best of luck with the mint. I'll be watching, I'm sure we'll be watching it together. I'm really excited to partner, and I know my team is super excited. So thank you very much, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.